let's get you caught up on what's happening as we move into the postseason. Oklahoma, your regular season champs, they hit a lot of those home runs over scoreboards, setting a new D1 single season record led by Kendall Wells. She set a new mark at OU. Katie Stewart, a new home run record at the University of Texas. Alabama, big jump for Murphy's Club, picked 9th in the preseason. They finish 2nd in the SEC and always strong. 10 teams in the RPI top 20. Could be a lot of SEC schools hosting in the NCAAs. 2 games already in the books, a couple of late Auburn home runs. They rallied to knock Missouri out. And another come-from-behind win in the second game, a walk-off, in fact, for Mississippi State, a 3-run bottom of the 7th. They knock out Kentucky. Unfortunately for the Cats and the Tigers, they finished with records under 500. That means they are both ineligible to be considered for the NCAA tournament. So there's how the second round looks for you on Wednesday. We'll get things started tomorrow morning at 11 Eastern with A&M and Auburn. Hi, everybody, and welcome to John Crop here in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm Beth Mowens alongside our 2-time Olympic gold medalist, Michelle Smith. Always a crazy and chaotic SEC tournament. 6 different champs in 5 years. We'll figure that out for you in a little bit, do some math, but so much at stake, not only to get a ring, but also for the NCAAs.
Yeah, and you know, Beth, this is always an exciting tournament because you never know what you're going to get. It's going to be great competition. We've seen it all year long, but you've got to be able to execute, and this really does harden you. It prepares you for the postseason, so buckle up. It's going to be a great week.
Well, when you take a look at the RPIs for both of these clubs, they look pretty good in terms of getting into the NCAA tournament, and probably 2 seeds. Remember, we don't just seed 1 through 16 this year, but 1 through 32 with the NCAA selection committee, and both anchored by those strong strengths of schedules. They have been tested in the league and out, and will square off for the first time this year. Did not meet during the regular season. And it is Jory Hurd, the senior from Algonquin, Illinois, who will get the ball.
She's been good this year, a true leader for South Carolina. Going up against a very lefty-heavy Ole Miss lineup. 6 of the 9 are left-handed.
Kennedy Bunker will step in to lead things off. Not every day you see a catcher as your leadoff, but that's how good and how versatile she is. The speed power combo, and that one will drop just foul in the grass out and left. Here's a look at the Rebels starting lineup. You know, last year Percy Lamas set a home run and RBI record, and this year Matty George busted them both with 21 home runs and 56 runs batted in. They are together in the heart of that order. Matty, one of the top freshmen in the country this year. Heard the ladies talking pregame in the studio, Smitty. Might they see some home runs? Well, it's a good possibility with Ole Miss. They set a new school record this year with 78 of them.
That's really been the theme of the year. A lot of home runs, a lot of balls leaving the yard, much to the dismay of those in the circle.
There's a look at Jamie Traxel, now in her 6th season. Unseeded in the NCAA tournament, and they made it to the World Series with upsets over Arizona and Arkansas. First time in school history. They're trying to build off of that, and Bunker called out. 1 down.
Oh, Hurd's so good with moving the ball around. She's in a great pitcher's count at 1 and 2, and she pulls out that changeup. So effective. She throws that often, about 19 to 20% of the time. Floats it in around 50 miles an hour. Big strikeout to start the game for Hurd.
One of the most utilized arms in the SEC second half of the season is Jory Hurd. And now Mackenzie Pickens, the sophomore from Flowery Branch, Georgia. Starting second baseman today. Jory with wins on the season over Tennessee, Clemson, Texas A&M. Lost their last 2 against Alabama, but they were all 1-run games in the season finale last weekend.
Well, you talked about it, Beth, the strength of schedule, this South Carolina team. They have played a tough schedule pre-conference, obviously in conference. That's the stuff that sharpens you.
Heading to count 1 and 2.
I think for coaches too, a lot of times it's figuring out those one-run losses. You know, what's the one pitch, either that you're throwing or that you're hitting, that changes the complexity of the game. And there it is, those 9 losses by just 1 run.
Both these clubs with that identical 5 and 9 mark, the most in the SEC. Yeah. So they've experienced some nail biters. For Ole Miss, at least, they've won some lately. Back-to-back walk-off wins against arch rival Mississippi State last weekend. Right back to Hurd, 2 down.
Well, and Hurd's going to attack the zone a lot of different ways. You mentioned it, Beth, a lot of experience in that circle. And she likes to move the ball around. She has that ability to throw with great velocity, as well as being able to limit that velocity down to 53 miles an hour, all the way up to almost 70 miles an hour to rise. It's a 2-seam drop ball, curve ball. And the key is she tunnels them well, so it's really difficult to see the variation between the rise ball, drop ball, out of the hand. And so for hitters, it's going to be important for them to really read spin to identify the pitch right out of the hand.
This is Percy Yamas, sophomore from Eastvale, California. There's a deep shot. Back it goes. And over the fence, out in left center. Solo home run with 2 outs. And Ole Miss jumps in front.
Percy Yamas is going to get all into a 0-1 pitch and just drives this out of the yard. When you look at the splits off of Hurd, lefties hit almost 60 points higher than righties. A lot of lefties in this lineup for Ole Miss. She takes a pitch on the outer half. Look at the load. Look at the extension with her arms, head down. That is an outstanding swing. You could hear it off the bat. That ball leaving the yard. Yamas with her 9th home run of the year.
She enjoys the postseason in this SEC tournament. Last year, their postseason run started with a big upset in the tournament against Florida, and she hit a 3-run home run in the upset of the Gators. Reached the quarterfinals of the SEC, and then obviously rolled through the regionals and the supers to get to Oklahoma City.
And that's the power of this tournament, right? You get on a roll at this tournament, you have some good upset victories, and it can be a springboard into the postseason.
It's also a long road. The teams that win today, in order to win the championship, still have to win 5 games in 5 days. Yeah. That has never happened before in the SEC tournament. Ole Miss does hold the record of winning 4 games in 4 days, the lowest seed to ever win the championship back in 2017. That famous run led by Caitlin Lee. That's outside the bag foul. They were an 8 seed that year. That one's fair. Inside the bag and all the way down to the corner, and Maddie George racing around for second. And a stand-up double.
Now this ball is just ripped. George is going to get around it and drive it down into the corner. George, just a freshman. She's been an all-star this year for Ole Miss. Look at the way she gets around that pitch. It looks like a curveball that just does not get in. It goes right over the bag, gets right past Rhodey at first base. A big double for the freshman George, her 9th of the year.
RBI opportunity for Cassie Wiesner. She's been the best hitter on the club the last 5 games. 11 home runs, 41 runs batted in, and a moment of intrigue for her back here at John Kropp. She is a transfer from Kentucky. Started out her career here. Played a couple of seasons. And already a conference with Jory Hurd. That's a couple of hard hit balls in a row.
Now, I'm actually surprised they're not using her changeup a little bit more. It's such an effective pitch, and she drops those speeds down into the low 50s. That's a pitch you've got to use, especially at this point in the season. Try to keep hitters off balance.
Katie Browder, Jody Davidson, Zach Parsons, the assistant coaches for South Carolina, and Ashley Chastain Woodard. Here's the 1-0 to Riesman. Slow roller to first. Rhodey stays down on it. Touches the bag for the third out, but first tater of the night belongs to Ole Miss.
Mercy Yamas gonna go get a ball and take it out of the yard. An 0-1 pitch on the outer half. Yamas with her 9th home run of the year puts Ole Miss up on the board. Hotty toddy for Ole Miss. Carolina picking up the bats.
Bats led by Tori Ensley, the transfer from NC State. Didn't hit a lot of home runs her first 2 years in Raleigh, and now a big leap in her first campaign at Carolina. And she leads the way for the Gamecocks against Emily Boyer, the senior from Harrisburg, South Dakota.
On the key for Boyer, you can see it, those 82 base on ball. It's the free passes. She's got to limit those, and she's got to keep the ball in the yard. She's given up 27 home runs this year, Beth. So free passes, keep the ball in the yard. If she can do that, she'll be successful in that circle.
Big step up for the D2 National Player of the Year last season to the SEC. And now in her SEC tournament debut, gets the first out as Ensley is retired.
For Boyer, you can see she's going to use that drop ball effectively, that average velocity up over 68 miles an hour. The changeup, again, that's the pitch in this part of the season you've got to use effectively. You've got to use it often, and of course then the rise ball to create that variation, separation through the strike zone.
That'll bring up Quincy Lilio, who had been the leadoff batter for South Carolina for 2 years until their regular season finale. They decided to make the move to Tori Ensley at the top, and now Lilio batting second for the senior transfer from Oklahoma.
And it's interesting when you're still shuffling lineups this late in the season, trying to figure out what's that magical formula so that you've got those hitters coming up at the right position. This is a South Carolina team that has left 347 runners on base. I mean, that's a lot of lobs.
They like the option, Ashley was telling us this morning, of Ensley getting on base, and then Lilio has the ability to swing, but also move her over if need be. It runs at a premium, likely today. Certainly they were in the Alabama series. Smacks that to short, diving stop by Riesner from her knees. And Lilio is safe at first.
Good job by Lilio. She sneaks a peek, and you could see once she saw Anderson down, she knew she had an opportunity to beat this out. But this is textbook base running. After she hits that ball, you can see she looks, she sees that Anderson is down, and you really legs that out. But an outstanding opportunity for Anderson to keep that, throw it across, and just a little bit shy because Lilio runs very well.
Yeah, I mean, that's, it just smears.
You can see Carolina talking with home plate umpire Marty Abazishan, Cam Ellison, and Steve Gould, also our umpires. So the brush apparently not enough to get the mud off the plate. They try and go to the towel. A little swirly effect. Pitchers need to target, Michelle, right?
Absolutely. You need that plate to be as white and large as possible.
Here's Carly Shelton. One on and one down.
Cool.
Junior from Lexington, South Carolina, has been a 3-year starter. Following in the footsteps of her mom, Bonnie, who played softball at Carolina. Right back to the pitcher. Boyer turns to second, and just in time. Off the double clutch, but gets the force out.
That's a good job by Boyer. That's a tough situation for a pitcher. I've been in that environment before where you're not sure if it's the shortstop or the second baseman who's going to be covering the bag. And you can see this is hit back hard to her. She has to double pump because I think she looks first at her shortstop who's not there. Pickens, the second baseman is, but they still get that lead runner, which is huge. One of the things a lot of coaches talked about is getting lead runners out. So important. Taking that pressure off.
Here's Jamie McKay, the senior from Laguna Beach, California.
And so you can take a look at it here. You can see the way Boyer's going to turn around. And look at, she's looking right here. She's looking at her shortstop and sees her not going to the bag. Then she identifies her second baseman at the base. So it's so important to be talking as a middle infielder, yelling to your pitcher, because a lot of times when our back is to that bag, we don't know. We got to be listening for you calling at that bag. So that's a great example of a little bit of miscommunication can lead to not getting that out in a very important situation.
Scoots away from Kennedy Bunker. Shelton will take second, and a runner in scoring position here, trying to tie it up in the bottom of the first. Score that one a wild pitch. McKay, 19 RBI on the year. And nice play at second by Pickens to glove that and end the threat.
More motivation today. She said, yeah, the energy's a little turned up.
Well, she'll have an opportunity today. Right back to Jory Hurd. Applin is retired. 6, 7, and 8 coming up here for Ole Miss. Yeah, for South Carolina this year, 14 new players. And you see what the transfers have done and the 9 others. Ashley Chastain Woodard telling us earlier today, it took a while to find the chemistry. You know, we had some late bloomers. Get everybody on the same page. They're hoping to make a run in the postseason. Diving snag, and the throw by Anderson not in time over at first. And Grisham is aboard with one down, an infield single.
Grisham doing a good job hitting this back toward that 5-6 hole. You can see the defense for South Carolina respecting the speed. So Anderson a little bit up the middle has to dive back to her arm side. And so good job by Grisham to beat that out. Beth, back to your point, I think Patrick Murphy used to say, you know, some teams need a longer runway to take off. You know, it takes a while, especially with that many new faces coming in to meld together to get everything going in the right direction.
Had that historic run last year. They were a top 8 seed, hosted a super regional, and took UCLA to the brink, losing in 3 games. We're what, one strike away from the World Series before the Bruins and Jordan Woolery ended the dream season. So both these teams, I think the expectation was, hey, we can put it together again this year. Maybe not so in the regular season, but now, you know, turn that page, fresh start.
Opportunity. Everybody starts new at this point. Play for a championship. And that's the thing I love about a tournament like this is that, you know, the regular season, you're looking at a gauntlet of 24 games. Here, you win, you survive, you go on. And there's a trophy at the end of it that you can hoist up.
Not a called strike 3 there.
A nice pitch on the outer half. Lori Hurd picks up her second strikeout. Pitch on the outer half, a little bit of downward movement, a little bit of out on it. Good velocity. Using that changeup a little bit more as well here in the second inning. And she's been going right after the zone. I mean, just popping the ball in the glove.
Here's the 9-hitter, Taylor Melvin. Runner goes, the throw down. And diving in safely is Grisham.
Grisham with a good jump. Nice throw down by Winters. Take a look at the tag, and you can see the fingertip just gets in there.
She's now 8 for 8 stealing bases. And
Review.
I believe the coach is challenged whether the runner left early from first. Oh.
Ooh, I wonder the question is, did they hit the other hand? Hit the left hand before the right hand hits the bag?
Oh, she's way off.
Yeah.
We're going to change this and call her out for leaving early, it would appear.
Oh, yeah, she's way off.
Well, South Carolina's already ready to leave the field. They've seen the replay on the Jumbotron. Not sure what the delay is here.
After review, the runner did leave early. She is out. South Carolina retains their challenge.
Good challenge there. And a 1-0 Ole Miss lead. It's more than any other league. To the bottom of the second, South Carolina stepping in, trailing 1-0. Percy Yamas, a solo home run in the first for the Rebels. And here's Ariana Rhodey.
Nice off-speed pitch by Boyer at 0-1 to take the count to 0-2.
Pull out.
Rhodey, the senior from Cranston, Rhode Island.
Ball.
Numbers, power numbers been down a bit, the batting average down. She does walk a ton. Coaches would love to see her be aggressive, make sure she gets her swings if the pitch is right. They need her production.
And she's got a good eye. I mean, last pitch, changeup down, doesn't bite. 2 pitches prior to that were good drops on the outer half, did not bite at those.
0-2 to 3-2. And draws the walk. Holly?
Well, they love that she's walking. Obviously, that's good. It shows great discipline and a great eye at the plate, which they've loved about her. As you mentioned, she set the single-season record for walks, but they want her late in the season to be more aggressive. Now, that worked out well there. She's on base, but the coaches have been talking to her. She said, we have really challenged her to swing, to really use that same discipline at the plate, but with more of an aggressive mindset and more of an aggressive mentality. So it's a darned if you do, darned if you don't. Yeah, you got on. They want you to walk, but they also want you swinging that big bat that you've got. She set a school record last year for single-season home runs, too, so it's a very interesting conundrum for her.
Well, I'll tell you what, Holly, they're very happy with that leadoff walk to start the inning. I think when there's runners on base, that's when they want her to make sure that bat is off her shoulder and she's swinging at some good pitches in the zone.
Lexi Shaver is on to pinch run. Rhodey can re-enter. Here's Lexi Winters. Tries to push her over with a sack. She'll try again. 0-2.
The skill of bunting is so important. Especially late
so hard
season.
to master.
It is. Both eyes, you know, focused on the ball. It's still so hard to catch.
Called strike 3.
Boy,
unproductive out.
Unproductive out, and that's definitely not what you want to see in that situation. You just want to ground ball something down to try to move your teammate up. This is drop ball in the outer half. Really great location. So after a couple of missed bunt opportunities, watching a pitch on the outer half, unproductive out, strikeout. Looking by Lexi Winters.
First for Emily Boyer. And here is Tate Davis. Out of Greer, South Carolina. Gets the start as the DP. Had been playing a lot of third base this year. Natalie Heath emerged late in the season. But they like to have Tate's bat in the lineup.
Well, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, opportunities to make something happen in the game. You know, swing the bat, be aggressive, make good decisions.
In the dirt, Shaver to second.
It's a nice piece of running by Shaver, the pinch runner, seeing that ball down, being aggressive, picking up that extra 60 feet. So easy to hesitate on this and go back to the bag, but I like the way that Lexi, she's going to read that. She's going to see it down and immediately puts her head down and scoots over to second base.
And Bunker wants to talk with Boyer.
And say, look, don't give up on your drop ball. Keep throwing it. If it's in the dirt or even your changeup, I'm going to block it. I'll be in front. Don't worry about the runner on base. Boyer really using that outside corner to all these right-handed hitters.
And you see what you did last year at Ole Miss. A member of their World Series team. Does not hold up. Two down.
A couple of drop balls on the outer half. And an elevated pitch. Ooh. Looks like she checks that, holds that back. Because the umpire at first is over at second, they have to go down to the third baseline for that call.
And here's Natalie Heath in the 8th spot in the lineup. Fifth-year senior has patiently waited and worked hard to get her opportunity. It has come now at the end of her career. Could not check that either, 1 and 2.
Wow.
And now Boyer will try and strike out the side. Snagged by Yamas. And that saved a run for the Rebels. They still lead it 1-0.
Percy Yamas in the perfect position. This ball smashed right at her. So the home run hitter able to glove it up and keep South Carolina off the board.
Here's the latest RPI top 25, the SEC with 12. The other power leagues, ACC, Big 12 with 5 each. As it stands right now, the SEC, 6 of the top 8 and 9 of the top 16. Could be at home for the NCAA tournament. Right back to Hurd, 1 down. Holly?
Well, Jory Hurd is really pitching in and locking in here well after giving up that home run in the first. I asked her what's different this season. She's a senior, and she has gotten so much better here lately. And she said, I'm pitching fearless right now. She said, in my first 3 years, I felt like I was a little bit skeptical. I didn't always trust my pitches. She's worked a lot with Coach Katie Browder on her mentality. You're perfect for this moment. Don't let the fear creep in, and we're seeing that right here.
Oh, just down the line and snagged by Rhodey. Outstanding glove work. 2 quick outs.
And Rhodey again in a perfect position. We've seen defense for both these clubs become so important. Rhodey hugging the bag, not letting this, but look at where her foot is almost on the chalk line. You know, a lot of times you see the first baseman backing off the line. That's a nice quick inning.
Quick work by Hurd. 4 pitches to get it done. The #1 pick in the AUSL draft, one of, I believe, 7 SEC players chosen.
That's right.
To join the new league this summer. We'll have the coverage for you starting right after the World Series ends. Building towards the AUSL championship at the end of July. And what a great moment for Pickens. Look at the reacts.
Well, they got golden tickets, but I think they didn't have any idea what number they were going.
Yes.
So the big surprise that she went #1. I think a lot of people thought maybe Pickens or Nigeri Kennedy.
Who went #2.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then Maya Johnson. Smitty was thrilled that 3 pitchers went
right.
1, 2, and 3. We will see Pickens, and we'll see the likes of Jocelyn Erickson, Reese Atwood, Leanne Good. Peja Gould we saw earlier today. Ooh, off the body of Boyer. Anderson will be safe at first.
It's a drop ball in the inner half that's just a little bit too sweet. Anderson just drives that right back up the middle.
Oh, wow, that got her square on the leg. I don't think she got the glove in front of it in time.
She lands in a good position with that glove out in front of her, but when a ball's hit that hard back at you, exit velocity, mid-70s, very difficult to react.
So a base runner here for Carolina, and back to the top of the order. Their best power hitter, Tori Ensley. Grounded to third, her first time out. Quickly goes 0-2.
See if South Carolina can get some productives out. They had Rhodey on.
Ensley reaches for it and pops it up. 1 down.
Tried bunting winners last time to Try to move runners up. That productive out is going to be so important. 0 for 6 today with runners on, 2 strikeouts.
Here's Lilio, singled her first time up. Bunts it foul. This is what they had talked about with the lineup change. Ensley to lead off, and now Lilio second.
You hear a lot of coaches talk about, even if you're physically not given the bunt, you need to know the opportunity in front of you to move your teammate up. It's hit behind them, get the ball down on the ground. Pop-ups, anything in the air is not going to help you out.
Glove by Boyer, the nice backhand for one over to first, offline. They'll get the lead. 2 down. Quick reflexes from the pitcher, Boyer, to get that.
Yeah, and there was no hesitation. She knew she was going to Pickens that time, unlike in that first inning where she had to double pump.
So here's Carly Shelton.
I had a good shot. It may not have been.
Shelton reached on a fielder's choice back in the first. They've had base runners in each of the first 3 innings. Down 1 courtesy of the Percy Yamas home run for Ole Miss back in the first inning. She's coming up again in the 4th for the Rebels. There's a shot and a diving grab out and left. Tenley Grisham. It's another run saver.
Tenley Grisham with a really good job. This Ole Miss coaching staff talked about defense. It's imperative that they have it, and they've had it so far. Grisham with the diving catch to get out of the jam. On a pitch that was supposed to be on the inside corner, and it comes sweet right over the plate. She identifies it, and she barrels it up. Head down, you could just see capitalizing on a pitch that's left a little bit too sweet. An 0-1 drop ball. She hammers it out for her 9th home run of the year.
Terrific last year in the SEC tournament, starting off well again this season. And Percy will lead it off, 3, 4, and 5 to face Jory Hurd. That home run, the 6th that Hurd has given up in the last 6 games. Smashed down the line to first, 1 out. And here comes the home run swinging Maddie George. Freshman from Leander, Texas. Percy's been a really good mentor for her when we talked to Jamie Traxel earlier today. Talked about her leadership and guidance for the youngster.
It's always so helpful to have those upperclassmen that have been through it.
Check swing. On the grass, the backhand, 1 hopper, not in time. Little oops base hit for Maddie.
So this is interesting because Rhodey's been playing down the line. So look at where she's at and where the second baseman's gonna have to come. This ball, it looks like potentially it could be Rhodey's, but because she is basically hugging the line, that is a long, long way that Shelton has to go to get it. It dribbles it over. Good job by George to beat that out. So the playing down the line has actually worked for Rhodey and South Carolina, but on that one, it's that shift a little bit too far over and able to beat out the base hit for George.
Cassie Reisner. Grounded out to Rhodey her first time out.
Oh.
Fouls that one off.
Hurd really attacking that outer half of the plate. You see her throw to that arm side a lot, but Hurd 41 pitches, 9 balls. Her strike percentage at 84%. Yeah, she's been outstanding.
To short, that's going to be a double play as George was off the bag. Defense, the story so far of this one.
This is South Carolina team that knows how to position. They are in their spots, and there's a purpose to everywhere they are put. Anderson going to glove this up over to Rhodey. 22nd double play of the year for South Carolina.
It's not just doing it with the bat. Solid performances really from both pitchers as well thus far. And a 1-0 Ole Miss lead to the bottom of the 4th. South Carolina coming up.
Well, you can just see the improvements that they made in the ERA. Look at that, an ERA below 2. First 5 series up near almost 4. And it's the name of the game. And limiting free passes, making your opponent earn their way on base.
There's 4, 5, and 6 to face Boyer.
Oh.
Here's the 1-1. Pitch. What you got for us, Holly?
Well, Jamie McKay is a fascinating athlete. She grew up her whole life playing baseball, did not even play softball until after her senior year of high school. She was actually recruited by Jamie Traxel of Ole Miss, and Jamie said, you know, if you're going to play college softball, you probably need to spend the summer actually playing softball. So she joined a summer league team, the Athletics Mercado. She said they were so good I couldn't get on the field. She ended up going to the Firecrackers where she got a couple of runs. I'll tell you more in a minute. And she said the very first bullpen, she was a catcher, and the pitcher threw a rise ball, and she was like, I've never seen anything like this. The ball doesn't move like this in baseball. So this is really just her 3rd season playing softball, and she's getting a better eye at the plate. You can see a strikeout there, but Jamie McKay, fascinating story, drafted 2nd round for the Women's Professional Baseball League.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Holly.
It was always interesting when athletes are playing baseball and they experience their first rise ball.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa.
Here's Ariana Rhodey. Walked her first time up. Base runners in each of the first 3 innings. There have been chances for Carolina, but they are 0 for 8 with runners on base tonight.
They've not had productive outs. They have not moved their teammates up into scoring position. In fact, Shelton moved up into scoring position, but that was via a wild pitch. Boyer's just been strong in the circle.
There's a 3-1. Full count.
It's a nice pitch on the outer half. It's Rhodey to swing through that.
Full count.
mechanics just very solid, very steady. She's hitting those margins on the plate.
I'll do it again. Slow roller, stays fair. 2 down. I don't know, Smitty, in our 30 years, if we've ever seen this much action about 2 centimeters inside the bag at first.
No.
Everything's going there.
And it's crazy, and actually the first basemen are actually positioned there, which is even crazier.
They must know something about the dirt that we don't. And back on the grass to make the grab is Mackenzie Pickens. Pitchers duel. Defense backing them up. See tournament bracket. Wells and Oklahoma open up in the quarterfinals on Thursday night. One of the top 4 seeds, they were the regular season champs. You get the number 1 seed, so they top 4 get a double bye. Leilana Applin. And a diving grab out and left by Lilio. 1 down.
Lilio, she's so fun to watch. Obviously, the smile by her. Great job out in left field reading this. This ball looks like it's going to dump down and hit the green, but Lilio with a great first step. It lays out. She reads it perfectly. And just look at that. No smile, nothing, like, hey, this is my job. I'm going to go get this ball.
Nonchalant.
And you can tell it's still wet out there as far as she slid on that grass.
Well, a season full of offense. It's been the defense tonight. But that has been a lot of fun watching Wells and then the UCLA sluggers,
Yes.
Megan Grant, Jordan Woolery chasing Laura Espinoza. And so that chase will continue because Oklahoma is off until Thursday. So is UCLA. They'll jump into the Big Ten tournament on Thursday.
Well, and it's all in the same year. I think that, we've seen the team home run records, and Oklahoma has just blown through their record of 161 on the year, set by that 2021 team. UCLA as well has blown through that record.
Tied now at 173. Infield pop. 2 down. Jory Hurd has been so efficient. She's really affecting our ability to tell stories tonight. Jory, we can't get anything in.
I know. I'm supposed to not talk over pitches, but it's impossible.
Still under 50 tonight.
Seriously. She had a 4-pitch third inning.
15 first pitch, 16 first pitch strikes to 18 batters faced.
Textbook.
That is efficient.
And roll ground balls, induce pop-ups.
That's a problem. Into the gap, the infield was in, and a run's gonna score for Ole Miss. RBI double for the number 9 hitter, Taylor Malvin.
Well, we've talked a lot about positioning, and you can see the outfield. Lilio, the left fielder, pulled in. Ensley, the center fielder, as well. So look at where they're at here, and this ball is going to go right into the gap. And because the infield is pulled in, the defense in the outfield is pulled in, that's going to make it all the way to the wall. Easily going to score Grisham all the way from first base. So Ole Miss doing a good job of hitting them where they're not. Putting another run up on the board.
That's only her 5th extra base hit of the season. That's why the outfield was playing shallow. And she gaps one on them to make it 2-0. And now the top of the order, Kennedy Bunker. A strikeout and a ground out. Senior out of Simi Valley, transferred in from Fresno. All Mountain West performer. You're not going to get a much cooler moment than in the Mississippi State series when she led off a game with a home run and then walked off the same game with another home run.
Yeah, that doesn't, I don't know, I've never heard of that happening. I mean, been around the game a long time. That's pretty impressive.
Wow, another snag by Rhodey at first, the Gold Glover. But another run up for the Rebs.
Ari Rhodey just showing what it's like to be able to be in the proper position. Look at the way she's going to glove this up. The Gold Glover Rhodey getting the third out of the inning.
3 phases of the game. Boyer and Hurd have been terrific in the circle tonight. Very efficient with their pitches, not a lot of free passes.
And that's the key. Both these coaching staffs talked about that, limiting free passes and then obviously execution. South Carolina has had opportunities with runners on early in innings, but have not been able to move them. 0 for 8 with runners on. 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, and 0 for 4 with 2 outs.
Here's the bottom of the order coming up. Well, you have to have that efficiency if you're going to make a run in this tournament, playing this early. You need 5 wins in 5 days to win the championship. Playing ranked opponents pretty much every game.
Oh, that's really what it comes down to, is making your opponents earn it. You know, every aspect of it, being able to execute pitches on the corners, the defense, position properly. We've seen a lot of that. Boyer has really been outstanding. I mean, on a stat line, you look at her coming in, she's given up 27 home runs. She had over 80 walks coming into today's game, but she has been so efficient, has really hammered that glove side of the plate. And you usually don't see that, Beth. A lot of pitchers are very comfortable on their arm side of the plate, but she's been working this very righty-heavy lineup for South Carolina on the outer half, and South Carolina has not been able to catch up to that pitch.
First full count in a while. Strike 3.
Wow, nice pitch. And that's the pitch I was just talking about. It's on the outer half. This one actually bled a little bit back into the zone. You could see the way that Bunker is going to catch this. Look at the way this pitch starts on the outer half, and it kind of leaks back into the zone. You can see the way that Bunker catches it. That's a pitch that you have to go out as a hitter. You've got to go see that. That's a drop on the outer half. Big strikeout again. That's the 4th now for Boyer.
3 of them looking. Here's Natalie Heath. Chops it back up the middle, behind the bag at second, and the nice throw from Pickens to get her 2 down.
It's all positioning right there.
Two down for Shea Anderson. Singled back in the 3rd. Good on the off speed in there, under 60 miles an hour. It's about a 13-mile-an-hour difference from the pitch prior. Throwing some smoke at 71.
Yeah, she's been on point. Throwing that off speed about 58 miles an hour, so just really good separation.
Missed just low there with the change. Winner advances to play Tennessee tomorrow. Lady Vols, the 5 seed.
Speaking of good pitching, Tennessee. Three-headed monster. Aaron Newer, Sage Marjeko, Carlin Pickens.
I believe they are 1, 2, and 3 in the country in opponent's batting average.
Been outstanding.
That staff with the #1 ERA in the nation, obviously. Another full count. Struck her out. Couple of Ks in the inning. And it remains 2-0 Ole Miss.
Emily Boyer with that drop on the outer half has been on point. Look at the over-the-top rotation on this 5th strikeout of the game for Boyer.
Two-zip revs. Guys close to moving on.
Percy Yaya's on deck behind Mackenzie Pickens here in the top of the 6th. I was going Yamo be there, but I like Percy Yaya. I think that's got a nice ring to it.
I think I had a third yeah.
Rebels to face Jory Hurd. Gave up a run in the 1st on the Yamas home run, and then a run in the 5th. Opposite way, and McKay is there. 1 down, so here comes Yamas. And here's a look back at her home run.
You make a mistake, and she's going to punish it. This pitch just floats back over the zone, and Percy says, pow! Gets it out of the park, an 0-1 pitch. It gets out super fast.
It's the 3rd game of the day. The gang will have highlights from Auburn's win over Missouri and Mississippi State's win over Kentucky. Both comebacks. They've already had a walk-off win today. And unfortunately for Missouri and Kentucky, not only eliminated from the SEC tournament, but their records are below 500, so they cannot be considered for inclusion in the NCAA tournament. So the possibility of 13 of the 15 maybe going to the NCAAs.
Auburn has to win a couple of games in order to get over that 500 mark.
Still in it. Yeah, they have to beat Texas A&M and then beat Florida. Tall task. Things get underway with that Auburn A&M game tomorrow morning. Another one. Right, there's a magnet in the first base. Wow. It must be in the green safety base.
I mean, that is perfect. Like literally right on the bag.
I mean, you're stealing extra bases on that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're in normal positioning, either think about in front of the bag or even off the bag, that's down the line, that gets in the corner. That's a double, potentially a triple, depending on the speed of the athlete in the box.
5 spectacular plays at first base right down the line tonight for both defenses.
Well, and ironically, that usually is not the norm. I mean, they are playing there. You typically will see them off. The third basemen are off. Heath is well off the bag over at third.
Holly?
Well, Michelle, I don't know if this matters or not, but I thought I would share it with you in case it does. So I was talking to Jory Hurd about what her pitches are doing this year and how she's really working them. And she said she's working on a two-seam to develop more run. I don't know if that's why you're getting more balls hit at first base, but that's something she's trying to add to her arsenal and relying on a lot more right now.
I love hearing that because there's absolutely way different movement between a four-seam and a two-seam. A two-seam is going to give you a little bit more run. A four-seam over the top.
Yanked foul.
Yanked foul. A four-seam over the top is going to give you more down, so a little more run or movement laterally on a two-seam versus a four-seam. I used to throw my drop ball both ways, four-seam and a two-seam. Yeah, I would throw a two-seam fastball, though, that had a little more curve spin to it, so you got to experiment with your grips.
She's got a double and a single. That was 80 miles an hour, the exit velo. 70 is considered really good in softball.
Yeah, anytime you get up near 80 miles an hour, you usually hit it through the infield.
Pulls that one to the right side. And a 1-2-3 inning. 2-0, Ole Miss in front. Cody and Yamas down there. We've got ourselves a 2-1 ball game to the bottom of the 6th. Winner advances to face Tennessee tomorrow. The loser is out. And we'll head home to get ready for the NCAA tournament. Both teams potentially 2 seeds. Little dribbler off the end of the bat, one down. Remember, not just seeding 1 through 16, those will be the regional hosts, but also seeding 17 through 32. So each site will have a 1 seed and a 2 seed, or a high, the highest seed and then the second highest seed. There is a lot still to be determined, including who will be the overall #1.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been a crazy year RPI-wise. We've had, what, 5 different #1 RPIs? 5 or 6? It's a lot of shuffling up and down this year. I believe Arkansas is the current #1 RPI.
They are indeed. Interesting to note, in the 20 years of seeding, it has only happened twice that the final #1 RPI was not the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Lilio, Oppo, but right at Grisham. 2 down. Yeah, so there's a look at your tops. Alabama 2, Nebraska 3, and then Texas and Florida rounding out the top 5. You get down near that 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are your Supers host bubbles. Is it possible that a UCLA or an Oregon or a Duke may be hitting the road? Tennessee has some nice wins head-to-head against the people around them. That's obviously another big piece of criteria.
RPI, KPI, which takes into account a little bit more if your big wins are on the road or at home.
Your strength of schedule, how you do head-to-head, how you finish the season, your last 10 games or so. All in the mix. Shelton, a rope out to center, and that will bring the tying run to the plate. South Carolina down to just 4 outs to work with.
Boy, that's a big hit. Shelton driving that ball back up the middle. South Carolina needed that. Just the first hit, I should say, since the 3rd inning. Boyer had retired 9 in a row.
Jamie McKay, a line out and a strikeout tonight. Big moment for her against her former teammates. Holly Rowe telling us earlier in her report how sweet it would be. In this transfer portal world, it's still a big deal. You're back with against some of your friends. And that one will get back up through the middle. And now the go-ahead run to the plate. Back-to-back singles. First hit since the third inning. And it's the big bopper, Ariana Rodi, coming up. And this is the situation that Ashley Chastain Woodard had talked about. We need her to eschew the walks if possible and get a big swing in a situation like this. Going to get a pinch runner on here, perhaps from McKay. She would be the tying run down at first. Takes a look at strike one. Chance to tie it or take the lead late here for South Carolina.
Boyer continuing to be just on point on the outer half of the plate.
Ground ball to short, the throw over to first. Got her. Threat denied as we head to the seventh. Ole Miss still up a deuce. Tacked on another 2-0. Rebels in front as we head to the top of the seventh, and Emma Friedel is the new pitcher out there for the Gamecocks.
Ball.
Facing 5, 6, and 7.
Coach Chastain Woodard talked a little bit about Friedel wanting to get her more innings, opportunities.
Right there behind second base is Shelton, positioned perfectly. She was sitting right there waiting for it, Smitty.
Oh, absolutely. This is what we're talking about. Normally, this is where you're going to be in a second base position, but look at where she's at. She's all the way up the middle, and so this isn't normally a base hit. When that comes off your bat as a hitter, you're like, yes, base hit up the middle, and then you go, no. Shelton, outstanding positioning, knowing exactly where to be.
There's Applin. Oh, and 2. Ooh, little knuckler. Shelton able to hold her ground, 2 out.
Wow, she's been challenged. So we see her up behind the bag at second and now in a more traditional second base position. But look at the way this is going to cue ball. So she centers it up on her body and then ends up having to catch it. Whoops, over off to her right shoulder. Good job of reacting at the last second.
Tenley Grisham, first pitch swinging. 6, 7, and 8 are due up for Carolina in the bottom of the 7th. Their last chance to get something done. We've seen late inning heroics in each of the first 2 games. Auburn rallying late and Mississippi State with a walk-off in the first 2 games today.
Defense pulled so far
Way in.
Grisham's field. And she's been good. She's 2 singles. Figuring out a way to beat that defense.
Backhanded by Shelton, who makes all 3 outs. And it's the last chance against Emily Boyer, who will try and close the door, survive and advance at the SEC tournament opening night. Beat it 2-0. Last chance here for South Carolina to try and walk it off and win it. 6, 7, and 8 due up to face Emily Boyer, who has allowed just 4 hits, has struck out 5.
She has been on point, that drop ball. Heavy, great movement through the zone.
Only 1 runner in scoring position since the 2nd inning against Boyer. And it's 2-1 to Lexi Winters. In foul territory in the backhand for Yamas. Let's check out the handiwork of Emily Boyer tonight.
Yeah, Boyer's been outstanding. That drop on the outer half of the zone. South Carolina just not seeing 5 strikeouts out there. 4 of the 5 are looking. Look at the movement. Look at the perfection of putting that on the edges. Great downward movement at 70 miles an hour. Boyer has been on point with that drop ball. Rolling the ground balls. 5 strikeouts. Yeah, 7 ground balls.
Even Steven.
Working from ahead. And that pitch, throwing it just enough, a 58-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. It blends and tunnels so well with that 71-mile-an-hour drop. You know, you see Boyer throwing a game like today, you wonder how she gave up 27 home runs this year.
She struck out Tate Davis twice. Pitches for Boyer.
Well, and that's a perfect example. That's a drop on the outer half, and you can see the way that Davis is around that. So South Carolina is just not letting that pitch on the outer half travel. You're never going to hit a drop on the outer half when you're early and over the top of it.
Two. Full count. Davis lines it to second, and Pickens is there. 2 out. And a pinch hitter coming up for South Carolina. Alyssa Hovermail will hit here in the 8th spot. Last chance for the Gamecocks. Junior from Norco, California, 232 average on the year. Take strike 1. Boyer had 6 complete games this year in SEC play, looking for a 7th here in the tournament.
Challenging Hovermail on the inner half now after working a lot on the outer half. Trying to beat her with that velocity on the drop down and inside.
Oh, 2. Waste 1 in the dirt.
No.
Did not go. Here comes the 2-2 from Emily Boyer. I'm not certain what pitch was called.
And she's going to call out Emily Kennedy Bunker, who's been so good behind the dish this evening.
All right, she's set and ready to go. Called strike 3 to end it. And Ole Miss wins it 2-zip. And they advance to face Tennessee tomorrow night. Strikeout number 6, 5 of them looking.
Outstanding effort by Boyer, as you mentioned. 5 of the 6 strikeouts looking. Just super command of that drop ball, on point at the knees and on the corners. See the way that Boyer's over the top, but how about Bunker, catcher, setting up a little bit on the outer half and then moving to the inside, drop ball, really good location. And you can see just the way she's out and over top of that drop ball, pick up her 6th strikeout of the game.
Percy Yamas, the solo home run in the 1st, and then Taylor Malvin, the RBI double in the 5th. And that's plenty with Emily Boyer